Hi, I hope you're having a great day and I hope you're staying safe at home. Today I want to talk about one thing that we, all of us, should never ever do before eating a meal or while eating a meal. If we're angry, we should not eat at that point. I know a lot of us, when we're angry, we become emotional eaters and we tend to eat more carbs and sugars and all of that stuff. But besides that, let's say you're in a work meeting. That's why I'm completely against working lunches, because the human body isn't designed to assimilate, digest, and absorb food when we're in stress. We have two nervous systems in the body, actually several. One of them is the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight and flight. When we are in the sympathetic nervous system, so for example, we're angry, or we're tensed, or we're stressed out, we are in the sympathetic nervous system. Digestion shuts down. The ability for your body to digest food shuts down. Our blood pressure increases, our blood sugar levels increase, our cholesterol levels, all of this. It's a beautiful response to stress to enable us to be in the fight and flight response. When we're in the parasympathetic nervous system, that means it's called a rest and digest. So when we're calmed down, our adrenaline levels, our cortisol levels come down. Now the body moves into a system which allows our digestive system to start working. It starts working, we're able to absorb nutrition, assimilate nutrition. Everything works better for us when we're in the parasympathetic nervous system. It's the same thing. It's called rest and digest. We cannot sleep if we're in the sympathetic nervous system. Our mind is constantly working, thought after thought, and you find it difficult to fall asleep. So you need to be in the parasympathetic nervous system to rest and digest, to fall asleep and to digest our food. So what really happens, and why is this bad for us? You see, the human body will still allow us to consume calories and eat, but we're going to have all the symptoms of acid reflux, bloating, indigestion, discomfort in our gut, constipation, diarrhea, and all of these issues. So we need to understand that if after we finish a meal, usually our BP spikes a little bit. This is natural for all of us, which is why we're always told to relax after you eat, don't exercise immediately, don't go and have a cold shower or a warm shower, because for that half an hour to 45 minutes, there is a spike in your blood pressure levels naturally after you eat. That's the beautiful mechanism of the human body. Now, if you're angry today and you decide to eat, there are two things that's going to go wrong. Number one, you don't have the right acid to break down your food or break down bacteria that you may consume through your food. Number two, swallowing becomes difficult. In the sympathetic nervous system, our swallowing is also constricted. Number three, we may eat that meal and our body has to follow the principle of survival. So it'll eventually break down your food. But it's not about what we eat, it's about what our body absorbs what we eat. When you are in a process of stress, digestion and even assimilation, which is the breakdown of your food and the absorption of your food, is compromised. So a lot of people, when they emotionally eat or they eat when they're angry, they're just eating to satisfy the brain, but they're not really absorbing most of the nutrition. Today, science is showing us that stress affects the gut-brain communication. Your gut and your brain is communicating all the time. So when you're nervous, let's say you see something or you know something that you need to do that's going to make you nervous. Why do you feel it in your gut? Butterflies in the stomach, or you feel like running to the loo because you're nervous. That's because your gut and your brain are communicating all the time. So when we go through anxiety and stress, our gut walls get inflamed. They start tightening up. That's why patients with IBS will know that they run continuously. They pass 3 to 4 to 5 to 7 motions in a day every time they're stressed. Because when you're stressed, your gut gets inflamed. When your gut gets inflamed, it doesn't allow for gut integrity, which is assimilation and absorption of your nutrients. So we need to understand that when we eat when we're stressed, or when we eat when we're angry, especially irritable or angry, one is we'll mostly make the wrong choices. Two, we will overeat, because the gut-brain communication is broken. So we don't even get a signal when we're full. But we'll be eating to feed our emotions. You know, a lot of people eat their anger. They eat their sadness. Some of them even eat their happiness. When you're really happy, you tend to just go wild and eat everything. So we tend to eat our emotions, but that really messes up our gut. Another very important point, your intestines basically have a barrier to protect our cells. It's a barrier that's usually tight, and it protects gut bacteria, bad bacteria, from entering our bloodstream. But when we're stressed, what happens is that intestinal barrier weakens. From tight, it goes to loose, allowing bacteria to enter into our bloodstream. And that's when we see autoimmune conditions, diarrhea, colitis, IBS, inflammation, and all of that stuff. We allow foreign invaders into our blood because we ate at the wrong time. So what's the solution? And this is especially for people who are going through IBS, colitis, colorectal cancers. You need to understand the importance of reducing inflammation. So don't eat if you're angry. Calm down. Be cool. But that sacred time for your meal is your sacred time. You will digest it better, enjoy it better, and basically metabolize everything better if you eat when you're calm. So if you're really stressed out or angry right now and it's your lunchtime or your dinner time, take a break, sit down, back straight, take about 6 to 10 deep breaths, because even 1 to 2 deep breaths can move you from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system. So from fight and flight, you move to rest and digest, which is why I always say 2 rules before eating. Before you eat, center yourself, 4 to 6 deep breaths. That'll take you less than a minute. And then gratitude for the food that you're going to eat, because you can only be calm when you're in a state of gratitude. So when we remind ourselves, we make it like a habit, like we brush our teeth every morning. Before we eat our meal, we close our eyes and we are grateful. We offer gratitude for the food that we eat, so that moves us from stress to de-stress. Sometimes the stress is a lot or we're really angry. Then just take a break. Wait for 15 to 20 minutes, but do not eat, because there's another scientific study showing us that people who eat when they're stressed, they don't absorb iron, they don't absorb calcium. So when the mind is distracted, we do not even absorb key vitamins. There's a beautiful study done in Norway where children were given a meal to eat and they were made to watch something that could stimulate their mind on TV. And their absorption rate of calcium and iron fell by almost 70 to 80%. So that just shows you when you're in the wrong nervous system, you can't break down and absorb nutrition and nutrients, which is the key of good health. So calm down, take a couple of deep breaths, no distractions during your meal times. You don't want to be watching the news, things that make you angry. You don't want to be in arguments. That's your sacred time. That's your 15 to 20 minutes where you just eat your meal, or you have pleasant conversations. You're laughing, you have fun with people and stuff like that. But it's a nice time. 15 minutes in a day when you're eating your meal, that's your time. Enjoy. When you're connected with your food, you'll even chew better. When you chew your food better, you will digest it and absorb it better, with less chances of acidity, bloating, indigestion, and all of these problems. So please understand, you can choose fancy diets, fancy exercise programs, supplements, and superfoods. But if you're not eating the right way, in the right nervous system, all of that is useless. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe deep.